I found a burner phone in my husband's gym bag. I thought he was cheating, but the truth was much worse. I'm 28 years old. I've been married to Mark, who is 33 for 3 years. He's the definition of a safe guy. He's a CPA. He calls his mom every Sunday. And he gets anxious if we're 5 minutes late. We've been eating rice and beans for 2 years. We're saving aggressively for a down payment on a house. It's in a good school district. Last Tuesday, Mark left his gym bag by the door. I tripped over it, and out tumbled a cheap, prepaid flip phone. My stomach hit the floor. I immediately thought affair. I opened it. No texts, no nudes, just a banking app I didn't recognize. I guessed the passcode. It was his birthday, obviously. I saw the transaction history and nearly threw up. Every single month on the 1st, a transfer of $2,500 goes to a woman named Elena. That's $30,000 a year. That is literally our entire house savings. The account balance was almost zero. He wasn't saving for our future. He was funneling it away. When he got home, I was waiting. I was sitting at the kitchen table with the burner phone. I expected him to panic or lie. Instead, he just collapsed into a chair and started sobbing. He told me everything. Mark isn't cheating. When he was 18, he was driving his dad's truck way too fast. It was on a back road. He swerved and ran a sedan off the road. The driver was Alina. She was 17. She survived, but she lost the use of her legs. Here's the kicker. Mark's dad was a prominent local politician. He pulled strings, evidence was lost, and Mark was never charged. He walked away with a clean record and a secret that rotted him from the inside out. He told me, I can't give her legs back, so I give her my life. He's been sending her money anonymously for 15 years. She thinks it's a settlement payout. He lied to me about his finances, his past, and who he is. He says this is his penance. He says if he stops paying, he's a monster. But now I'm looking at a man who crippled a girl and got away with it. He has been stealing our future to assuage his guilt. I packed a bag and went to my sister's. He's texting me, begging to come home. He's saying he's a changed man. But I don't know if I can stay with a man who bought his freedom and is making me pay the price. Did I overreact? What would you do in this situation? Let me know in the comments. I might file for divorce over this. My mother-in-law fed my cat garlic shrimp, even though he has kidney failure. I'm a 27-year-old woman. My husband is 30. We have a 14-year-old rescue cat named Barnaby. He has stage 3 kidney disease. He needs a strict prescription diet. That costs me $90 a bag, and absolutely no human food. My mother-in-law, who is 62, came to stay for a week. Her house was being painted. I was nervous, because she thinks boundaries are suggestions. I printed out a care sheet. I taped a neon "Do not feed the cat" sign to the fridge. I looked her in the eye and said, human food will kill him. His kidneys cannot process it. She laughed. She said, oh, you millennials and your fur babies. In my day, cats ate scraps and lived to be 20. Yesterday, I came home from work, and Barnaby was convulsing on the living room rug. He was vomiting foam. There was a greasy plate on the coffee table. I screamed, what did you give him? She waved her hand dismissively from the couch. He was crying at the table while I ate lunch. I just gave him the leftover garlic butter shrimp scampi. He looked so sad eating those dry pebbles you give him. Garlic is highly toxic to cats. I didn't even answer. I scooped him up and rushed to the emergency vet. They had to induce vomiting and put him on IV fluids for severe toxicity. The bill was $2,400. The vet said if I had been 20 minutes later, his organs would have shut down. When I got home at 2:30 a.m., exhausted, smelling like vet clinic and $2,000 poorer, my mother-in-law was asleep in the guest room. I didn't hesitate. I turned on the lights, threw her suitcase on the bed, and said, get out, now. She started crying. She said it was the middle of the night. She had nowhere to go, and that I was being psychotic over a dying animal that's on its way out anyway. That broke me. I called her in Uber to a Motel 6 and physically ushered her out the front door. My husband is furious. He says I endangered his mother, and that she didn't know better, even though I told her 5 times. His family is blowing up my phone, calling me a monster. Barnaby is still at the vet, fighting for his life. Am I the a-hole? Did I overreact, or was I right to kick her out? Let me know what you think. My husband invited his twin sister on our honeymoon without even asking me, so I canceled his ticket. I'm a 26-year-old woman, and I am currently shaking with rage. My husband, Mark, is also 26. He's blowing up my phone, calling me a heartless monster. Here's the deal. Mark has a twin sister, Sarah. They have that weird, overly close twin bond. I've always tolerated it. 2 weeks ago, Sarah's fiancé dumped her. It was brutal. I felt bad for her. I brought her wine, listened to her cry, and tried to be supportive. But Mark and I have been planning our honeymoon to the Maldives for 3 years. We leave in 48 hours. This trip cost us $14,000. Money we scrimped and saved for. It's an overwater bungalow, strictly romantic, strictly for two. Yesterday, I logged into our travel portal. I wanted to add a spa package as a surprise for Mark. That's when I saw it. The itinerary had been modified. The notes section read, "Add rollaway bed for third guest." I immediately confronted Mark. He didn't even look guilty. He said, "Sarah is in a dark place right now. She can't be alone. She's just going to crash on the cot and read by the pool. We won't even know she's there." I laughed, thinking he was joking. He wasn't. He actually invited his grieving sister on our romantic sexcadion without asking me, because he couldn't leave her behind in this state. Can you believe that? I told him absolutely not. He told me I was being selfish, and that family comes first. He refused to uninvite her, saying she had already packed, and was looking forward to the distraction. Wait until you hear what I did next. So, I did the nuclear option. Since I paid for 75% of the trip from my inheritance, the booking was under my name. I called the resort, canceled Mark's ticket, and transferred his spot to my best friend, Jessica. I told Mark he can stay home and comfort Sarah for free. Now his entire family is blasting me on Facebook. They're saying I ruined Sarah's recovery and stole Mark's vacation. Mark says I humiliated him. I think he humiliated me by trying to turn our honeymoon into a group therapy session. So, am I the a-hole? Did I overreact, or was I right to cancel his ticket? Let me know in the comments. My husband gave away my inheritance. He promised $40,000 to his brother without even asking me. I'm a 28-year-old woman. My husband, Mark, is 32. Yesterday, I walked into the living room and found him and his mother crying and hugging. The vibe completely shifted when they saw me. Mark looked guilty. His mom looked triumphant. Here's the background. My grandmother passed away 6 months ago. She left me exactly $40,000. It's sitting in a high-yield savings account, solely in my name. Mark and I had agreed, explicitly, that this was for a down payment on a house next year. Mark's brother, Greg, is 25. He's the family golden child who can do no wrong, but he's constantly in financial ruin. He recently maxed out 3 credit cards, trying to become a crypto day trader. He owes about $35,000 and is facing collections, but that's not even the worst part. Mark sat me down and said, "Babe, good news, we can fix Greg's problem. I told Mom you de-cover the debt with the inheritance money." I laughed, because I thought he was joking. He wasn't, when I said absolutely not. The atmosphere exploded. His mom snapped. She pointed a finger in my face. She told me, "You didn't earn that money anyway. It was a gift. Greg needs it to survive. Don't be a greedy witch." Wait until you hear what Mark said next. He said, "Since we're married, your assets are my assets. I have a right to decide how our windfall is spent." He admitted he already told Greg the money would be wired by Friday. He promised his brother my money to save the family reputation. I told them to get out of my apartment. Mark left with his mom. He's been staying at her place for 2 days, sending me walls of text. He's saying I'm financially abusing him, and that he's rethinking our future if I can't prioritize family over numbers on a screen. Now his aunts and cousins are direct messaging me on Instagram, calling me a gold digger. Even though I make more money than him, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Is this divorce territory? Or am I actually being selfish for holding on to money I didn't technically work for? Did I overreact, or is my husband completely out of line? Let me know what you think.